Morning traders out there, how we doing? Not a bad day at all. Ready to get back into the action and keep on partying, guys. It seems like, of course, we got, FOMC. Don't know why it keeps showing Michael Noss. There you go. Got it. Got him taken down. All right, guys, we'll see what's going on in the markets today. We'll take a look to see what happens. The Fed cutting rates today is what's expected. The only question is, will they go 50, right? It could still be on the table. We'll find out what happens from the big bad wolf, Jerome Powell, later today. Of course, it's a big day as it's big tech day. And yesterday, a flight to quality move. We'll talk a little bit more about that during the stream. We'll take a look at the RSP and then ways that you guys can actually look to see if you see the flight of quality, right? I think this is a very important moment for momentum stocks. Will they hold, or will we see more flight to quality, or maybe even some defensive action, some value plays? So keep your eyes in the markets today. We'll see what happens out there. It's another beautiful day here at Trade the Pool. We'll take a look to see what stocks are moving out there and where we can go trading. Right now, I'm of course focused on a swing trade that I have. Yesterday, I actually cut the swing trade, came right back in it this morning. Sometimes you got to do that, right? Sometimes you got to cut out just for protection's sake. You know, I was big positioned in on this yesterday at 591, was able to cut out on a small loss. And that's what I wanted to do, right? Get out with the big size because it's too dangerous to stay in with the big size. Now I look for these 590s to hold this morning, and it breaks back through 6. Right now I'm in at 599 and looking for RX to bounce back. So I'll keep an eye on that. If it breaks 6, I'll let you guys know. Let's go to the SPY action first. Take a look up there towards 688, almost 690. I talked about how 700 was capable, and that was back when we were starting to break 600. And boy, oh boy, we're almost there. So 690s right there. I don't think we got too much more than 700. So maybe we are starting to reach the top of the year. So with that being said, I think that these earnings reports are going to be what brings us to that. And then after that, I'm going to be a little bit on concern for the end of the year. Not necessarily because something's breaking, but the flight to quality can also put you a little bit on alert. Right? We got to look around to see what's out there. Chase, what's going on? It's good to see you, my friend. Fed cut today. Want to play the downside? I can wait. Yeah. I think that's what we got to do. We got to wait and get ready. It's okay to have a list that you're looking for when the downside comes into play, that you're ready to play on the short side too. You know, I don't always agree with only being a long only trader. I think you have to have some opportunities, some strategies for the short side. It's all about timing, right? So we'll see what happens there. But it's good to see you this morning, Chase. What else do you got out there? Lumen. Reports after hours tomorrow. Chase, if you want to know, man, I'll even pull up my chart so I can't change it. One of my good friends actually brought up Lumen, and I brought it up here in the chat at like $5. He still has a piece of that, and look at this 6 chart. One of the left on the left, what is that? That's Lumen, of course, Chase. So I can't blame you for looking at that. It's been a monster cup and handle, and my friend alerted to me this stock at $5. So I'm not gonna act like I'm the genius on this one, but it's been an amazing 90% run. Of course, Lumen provides like fiber optics to the data centers, which is kind of what we call an underlining asset, something that essentially powers the bigger thing, right? Kind of need the fiber optics cable in all these data centers to kind of run this, right? Well, there you guys see it, Lumen taking off. And Lumen was smart. They actually sold off a portion of their business, but the earnings are coming in. I have a friend that was thinking about selling towards this high. And I told him, hey man, you get towards that high, that $10 spot, it might be the time to sell. I might have to call him and bring him on the show. Got to get him on the show, man. But today we do have an interview, guys. Stay tuned. We're actually going to be talking some trading psychology coming up here a little bit later today, guys, with Dr. Vanessa Charland. Excited to talk also to Thor Young. So stick around, guys. We got a great interview coming up at 10:30, and of course, a great show planned. Let's keep going. It's good to see you out there, Chase. All right, we'll take a look at the market out there. We can take a look at what stocks are hot. We can go through the Sunrise report. Of course, the Federal Reserve expected to cut rates by a quarter point right now. That's really nothing to be surprised here. We can go into some earnings out there. There was some earnings stocks this morning. Let's go towards some of the conversation on NVIDIA this morning, as NVIDIA made a huge monster move yesterday. And this was what? Flight to quality, guys. Another flight to quality, and NVIDIA starting a little bit of a takeoff move here. And that's, of course, I think off the backs of like AMD and others that have continued to fly high, right? Qualcomm, really good trade yesterday off the 180. Wasn't able to get it back there towards 185, but it was a good outlook. And I'm looking to trade it again today, guys. So Qualcomm today, I'm going to be looking for something more right out the gates. So we'll see if we can able to play this right out the gates. I'm even maybe thinking about getting in here off the 182. I'm only concerned about a move to 181.50 here. And then I'm really looking to see if this can start to just climb right back. CRM, another name that I'll be watching in this space. Just looking for names that have gotten a nice little boost, pulled back, and ready to go for another rally. We'll see what happens on these names and keep watch, right? Cleveland Cliff on my radar to see it back above 14, going to 15, 16, right? This is going to be one name that if I do take the shot, I'm going to go big on this, guys, because it's been working really well. It's been building up, and now I can look for attempted undercuts to 14 and then a move right back above 14.20s going to the 15. We'll see what happens there in Cleveland Cliff. Let's take a look at one of the earnings stocks that I wanted to talk about. Let's go to Boeing here. Boeing on the downside and big wicks on both sides after the earnings here. Boeing positive cash flow here, 238 million, the first time since 2023. Yes, positive cash flow here. Q3 loss though at 747 shares adjusted versus a $4.59 expected. This just goes to show you guys that, you know, this is just a debt cow, but it just sticks around and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Revenue at 23.27 billion versus a 21.97 billion expected. The 777X plane delayed to 2027. Oh my God. Triggering another 4.9 billion non-cash charge. Not what you want to see, guys. But it doesn't matter. It's still sticking around, guys. CEO Kelly Orberg credited with stabilizing the production after supply chain crisis. Aircraft deliveries, 440 year to date, up from 291 last year. FAA lifted also the 737 MAX production cap to 42 a month. Challenges, though, remain as delayed MAX 7 and MAX 10, ongoing defense work strike also. CVS coming in with news this morning. Of course, they had their earnings, and they're doing actually pretty well here. Earnings beat here, the estimates at 137. It came in at $1.60. Revenues at 102.87 billion versus a 98.85 billion estimate. Not a bad move here for CVS. The net loss at 3.99 billion due to a 5.7 billion goodwill impairment in healthcare delivery unit. Full year EPS outlook raised to 655 and 665. This is the third straight hike, which is a really good sign there. Aetna showing improvements. That's the insurance that I have. Medical benefit ratios improved to 92.8. Caremark, pharmacy benefits manager and retail segment both grew double digits. CEO David Joyner executing aggressively around a turnaround plan. Clinic closures, cost cuts, and shares up 85% year to date despite the one-time charge. Let's go to Etsy, as Etsy is in the news this morning. Definitely taking a hit to the downside here. And CEO Josh Silverman stepping down and becoming executive chairman at the end of 2025. So a new CEO to take over January 1st, 2026, and the stock taking a big hit on it. Big picture, the markets are, of course, focused at record highs driven by AI enthusiasm and tech mega caps. The Fed's policy stance remains the key short-term driver. We'll see what happens with the tailwinds of the interest rate cuts. Corporate earnings broadly strong, but mixed signals on industrials and the healthcare sector. So we'll keep watch. Of course, today's the big day where you'll get Microsoft to report, you'll get Google to report, you'll also get Meta to report. right? So we'll see what happens with this reports. They'll be coming in tonight. And we can take a look a little bit deeper into the fundamental data and that kind of action. But this is why I like to play stocks into earnings. Look at the meta run into earnings, right? The last, 12 days, it's up 7%. Microsoft, same thing here, was looking for a move above the 520s. Look at this breakout, man. What a move here, guys. Kind of a little annoyed that I didn't play this one, but look at the move even to yesterday's move. That's an 8% rally in Microsoft, right back through the earnings high. That was my comments made earlier before this rally started. And there you go, Microsoft with a big move. Apple, of course, I've talked about how it would get to new all-time highs, and it's continued through the all-time highs and continued to push. So at this point, we continue to look at big mega tech. I'm looking at ARM to make a move back through 180s and go to 200. I'm looking at other names that kind of catch here. Micron continuing to go, right? There's so many names just completely killing it, guys. AVGO pulled back on this flag action, been holding it really well, now starting another breakaway. So this is what we mean by flight to quality. And you can see this by looking at the RSP, right? As you see the RSP yesterday kind of take that hit, but the SPY kind of really kind of climb. It just goes to show you, right? And you can see it in the XLK, right? The technology ETF, how quick of a move this been. Now it has been really quickly, so maybe we give it up, some of it on the earnings reports tonight, but it's something to keep watch, and we'll definitely be looking to see what happens here, right? All right, guys, let's keep going. We'll take a look around in the market. If you guys have stocks you guys want to come up with, hey, throw them up in the chat. I'll definitely be catching some names there. All right, we can keep going through our watch list. We can go through different sectors, really basic materials. Let's do a little sector check. We haven't done a little sector check in a little while here. I'm actually going to pull this to the side here so that you guys can see a little bit more here. If we look at basic materials, right, and then we're going to start, you know what, let's just start at the top, right? Let's do what's been the best on the week, right? So on the week, I like to do this, right? You take a look at what's actually popping this week. Well, the communication services starting to bounce back after a support test right back towards this 855. And these are equally weighted index. So it doesn't mean it's a specific company, but it just goes to show you that you are seeing that tech rally, right? You just got a nice little cross on the MACD, and that gave you a nice little push there. The RSI is not even high, so this move could keep going. Basic materials, doing a really good way of bouncing back. Gold, getting a little bit of a bounce back. Silver, a little bit of a bounce back. Copper, really hot, guys. I think copper is an area that we can keep looking for trades. SCCO, man, I remember when I was trading this back in the 50s. This thing has just continued to take off and doesn't turn around, holding the pullbacks right now. Southern Copper. And with that being mentioned, why not look for finally a little bit of a run in FCX? It still really hasn't made it a run, even though SCCO just continues to kick it out the water here. I'll look for a move above 45. It's nothing that makes me jump because the chart just doesn't want to go. And sometimes when the chart doesn't want to go, it might be that we are the ones that need to go. All right, we'll see what happens on that. Daily chart just still looks really good there in copper. Metals and minerals with a nice little bounce back day. We'll see if this is able to hold. I think this is something definitely to watch in the space. You got these names like right back down, right? USAR all the way back down to 20. This is the area where it can find support, right? Back then on the bottom end of the Bollinger Band. We'll see what happens there. Not a bad bounce back day. But are these just coming crashing right back down? They definitely can. I mean, they don't really have much to hold on here. But you can look at a little bit into more quality, right? Like lithium, right? LAC. Of course, this one got the investment by the U.S. government, but I would love for it to come back below 5. If it gets back below 5, I'm going to be looking to dip buy in LAC. We'll see what happens in this area. Of course, let's keep going. Let's go to the consumer cyclical. Or in basic materials, we could also take a look at steel because that's one of the areas that I've been playing on this breakout, right? You look to see what industries are breaking out in what sectors, right? Coal on the pullback, building materials not really doing much. Aluminum hasn't been the worst trade.
but not really a breakout. Chemicals looks like it's trying to break out, so maybe you look at some plays there. Of course, you're talking more of different names like this Huntsman. We had seen this one move just a couple days back. I'm going to be taking a look at this one. It's just lower volume. That's the problem with this. Probably too low volume to trade. But we'll see what happens there in Huntsman. If it can get back above 10 or 11, it's not a bad one to look at. Maybe in the smaller account, I can take this one. So it's not a name that you talk about often, but those are the trades that you want to take a look at. Because just because you don't trade it often doesn't mean it's not going to get hot. So we'll see what happens there in chemicals. Cyclical names, of course, now you're talking your auto manufacturing, your residential construction, those types of names. Not really seeing too many breakouts. Auto manufacturing has been hot. That's why Tesla also getting a nice little lift. Even Ford, I could see getting the lift on this. So I know the GM has been pushing, so maybe look to see if Ford plays a little catch up, gets back up there, undercuts the 13 today, rallies off of that 13, back towards the 14. All right, we can take a look there at some other ones, and that I know that Michael's been playing Auto Nation and things like that. We'll see what happens with the auto truck dealerships. Apparel stores is where I'm looking for the breakout, and this has to do with more of a seasonality run coming into play. So what are some names that we can look at? Well, we can just do this by RSI. Always work backwards, guys, right? So we're starting in the cyclical area. We're moving to apparel, and now we're going to just do it by RSI. What's been doing really well? It's been Victoria's Secret, Gap, Boots Barnes. Gap is definitely on my radar, guys. This looks really pretty. And the daily chart holding really well yesterday. So you could still get a little bit of a pullback, but a breakout out of this zone looks really good. Ross Stores continuing to the upside there. LE, Land Ends. Haven't traded this one before, but it's doing well. Zoomies holding on, right? It just seems to me like these apparels are getting ready for another move. American Eagle, also on my radar for another run. Maybe gets back up there towards 18, 19, 20s. Those are all areas that I'd like to trade on those names. A&F, of course, another name that I'll be watching for a big run. Can this one get back above the 75 spot? We just had a nice little pullback day. I'm going to look for an undercut of 74 and a rally back through 75. We'll see what happens there on Abercrombie and Fitch. All right, and who knows, maybe Victoria's Secret, we can trade that. That thing's been on a good, epic run, and the weeklies are really starting to turn here on Victoria's Secret. So, looks good. All right, we'll keep taking a look around to see what other trades we can find in the market, looking around to try to keep riding the waves, man. Big breakout in AMD, but that looks a little bit like a turnaround candle yesterday. So watch out for maybe an ugly opening today in AMD. We'll find out about those names. We'll keep trading, guys. It's 9:04. We'll have Michael Noss in just a little bit. He's probably just going to come in a little bit later. Doesn't mean he won't be here, guys. He's just coming back from something he needed to take care of this morning. But let's keep going. It's good to see you out there, Talk. Good morning to all you guys out there. It's time to start that countdown and really get towards the trading action.
Google wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
What's going on, traders? How we doing out there? Ready to kick it off and keep going? And got a little bit of some coffee. Ready to get after the day and ready to make some money, man. I got that kind of 25K now eval that I want to take to the next level. Let's keep getting another one, guys. Yesterday, it took like a little bit of a hit in the end. I was down about $80 on the account, but it was back and forth. I think one of the things I got to do is a little bit tame myself down, right? It's the 25K account. I came from the 50K, and I'm trying to get the same profits. So what I got to do, I got to go ahead and cut that by half, right? So if my losses and my risk on the 50K account were always in like kind of the 40 to 80 range, I want to cut that down. I want to cut it down by half, right? I want to go closer towards the $40 risk.
All right. So that's going to be a little bit tough, right? It's not always going to be easy, but we're going to try to adjust our size to do that. That's what the important part is. Risk and return, right? Because the idea here is to make like 200 or 180 on each trade. And then if I do that, I will get to the same profit target in kind of the same manner. You got to adjust the speed for the account that you have. All right, let's keep going and catching all you guys out there. It's good to see you this morning. James, how we doing? Crazy that Yahoo was saying notified. Didn't you start already? Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, it definitely started. I don't know why you're just getting the notification, but hey, it's good to see you, James. It's good to see you in the chat. If you guys have any stock you want to take a look at, definitely smash it up. And it was Mitch that told us about Lumen, I'm sure. Yeah, Talk, I know you were here, man. And you know how it is with me, Talk. I can't catch them all, but I can definitely put them on the radar. And that's up to you guys, right? And that's why I even love when you bring in conversations, Talk. So it's good to see you in the chat, my friend. I know you bring in a lot of great conversation on stocks like that. And it's good to see because that's what we can do as traders, right? We quickly get over the fact that we can't trade for each other, but we can definitely put things on radar and help each other find the top plays. So smash the like for that. It's good to see you in the chat. It's good to see all you guys out there. And definitely, we'll take a look at Lumen to see if we can maybe capture a little bit more. But remember, earnings are coming for that one. And earnings can always be that pullback. But we can use those pullbacks as traders, right? Let's say if this pulls back to a certain area, we can jump on it. BE, running. Let's go take a look at BE. I've talked about BE, and it's insane that this thing's continued, guys. You guys want to know where we first brought BE here? 35. And I still remember it because it was all on Elon Musk's comments. And man, I'm just mad I didn't jump on this one, man, because now it looks like it's crazy. It makes when it was at 35 look like nothing. Because this has continued another 285%. But you guys know, because I've been also on top of the FLNC, right? And that's continued a monster move. Did I capture all this? No, but hey, that's just how it is, guys. The only thing I can do sometimes is put it on the radar and keep on trading, guys. We'll see if FLNC can continue to rip higher. Fluence Energy now almost a $20 stock and really coming back on the monthlies. If you look at the monthly chart, look at this. I think you're starting to run into a little bit of resistance there, but man, what a rally indeed in FLNC, right? So you can see how that's kind of topping in here. So you're going to need a nice little reload in the 18s, the 17s to really take off through the 20. But it's been doing specifically that, right? 17s, 18s, trying to reload, trying to get some size, some volume. I think we could get an undercut of 18 today and maybe a move back through 19. But BE, what a move, what a monster, up there towards 140 and pulling back right now. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what happens on that one. Rando saying that he's been in BE at 27. That's my boy Rando, man. Put that one in your mom's account, man. Don't touch it. Tell her to sell it because I know she will never sell it, man. All right, what's going on, Shah? How we doing? What should be a real goal for the 25K profit and loss per trade? So on the 25K, right, you got to be thinking about it, right? The 25K is a $1,500 target, right? So what you got to really do is see how your trading is, right? Because it really depends more on you, Shah. And I think this is the important thing. And I think we need to have some more conversations about this, right? I can't tell you exactly, this isn't financial advice. I'm not trying to limit you, but I can talk about it, right? And just tell you how I would go about it, right? So like I just mentioned, for my 50K account, I think about this all the time. How much can I make daily? So I kept running into the resistance of like $400 or $500 days. Those days are hard to come upon in my 50K account, right? I can just see it in the statistics. There's times where I have the money available to me, but I'm not running to that because I'm going for the $500, the $600 a day, right? So at this point, I'm just thinking and I'm like, well, you know what? I got to keep going for it. But what I'm going to do is just cut that down a little bit, right? If I can't make the consistent $500 days, it's okay to take the consistent $300 days, right? So I think you do the same thing and you just cut that down, right? Hey, on the 1,500, maybe I start focusing to half of that or a little bit lower, right? If I can make 160 or let's say 200 on that account daily, that's a great goal to have. The key is the losses need to come down too, right? And you guys saw, I gave you guys insights into the account, right? The average was around 226 on the upside, the loss around that 46 spot. So we need to try to find that sweet spot. That's what you need to do in your data and really find the sweet spot. Where am I being too greedy? And where am I just not pushing enough, right? Or maybe not cutting the losses fast enough. It's all about the risk to return that you can get and the percentage on accuracy, right? Because if you're 60% accuracy, you can go down on your risk to return. But we can talk more about it. I hope you at least appreciated me taking a second for you. Let's keep going. We'll take a look around out there. Dorothy, how you doing? What are you trading this morning? We'll talk about it. Right now, you see my swing position in RXRX, but there's plenty of trades to be had. We can go through my watch list. I always have a watch list here. I actually have 73 names on this watch list now. These are just names that I feel are hot and have continued hot. There's some that are hotter than others, like Clean Spark today. Rocket, another one that I'll be watching to do a big rally today, right out the gates. So this is one that I'm watching, guys. Why am I watching this? This is a interest rate sensitive stock. And I have tons of these, guys. Like, I'm going to go to my notepad just to kind of show you from yesterday's action on what I was looking at and what type of stocks we were looking at on Trader TV. I always do this notes, and I can bring it in right here, guys. So just so you guys see that I'm not like trying to cherry pick. I was looking at interest rate sensitive fintech names, open, right? I was looking at Rocket, remains on the radar, rate sensitive name, watch for the leverage into interest rate roll off and refinancing tailwinds. So at this point, we can look to see if this can get right back up above the 18s today and rally, right? Open, still in play today also. It's right there on the 8. They can start driving this. There's going to be a cut today at 2 o'clock. You're going to get a press release from the Fed FOMC. You can get that on the Fed website. That's the same one that Jerome Powell reads when he starts the conversation at 2:30. There's a conference call at 2:30, and that's where we get more of the whipsaw action because of the questioning and answers that Jerome Powell gives. So we'll keep looking around, guys, and jumping all over that. What's up out there, Alexander? Can I take a look at IMAX? Not really a stock that I look at all the time, but for you, Alex, I'll definitely take a look. Let's take a look. All right, just needed some water there. Still recovering, guys. I'm still not feeling perfect, but I'm trying. I'm trying to get back. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look around to see what else I'm at it. I'm always 2 minutes late. Don't worry about it, James. It happens to the best of us, man. Got to be honest. James saying that I'm still losing money most days, catching the false breakouts, usually about $10 per day. So if you're having trouble with fake breakouts, we'll talk a little bit of a strategy that maybe you can use on that, James. Keep me to it so I don't forget it, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. And if you ever want to come on, kind of show some of your trades, maybe work through some of the trading psychology, hey, come on, James. I'm more than willing to have any of you guys on the show, and we can talk more about trading. All right, let's go to IMAX here. Let's take a look. All right, so first thing always, when you're looking at a stock like this that doesn't move often, you want to go to the monthly. The monthly clearly tells you what? It just tells you the overall trend, right? And this stock was on a long downtrend, right? It was what? 9 years where this stock didn't move, right? Just couldn't get off the ground. And now things are changing, right? That's the first thing, right? We can clearly see that it broke this trend line and then did what? Breaks the trend line and holds pullback. That's what you want to see. Then it expands away, holds pullback, expands away, holds, pull back. That's the rule of 3. At this point, you wouldn't want to see the 24 break ever, right? At this point, this is the momentum, right? Above this line, it's looking well. Now we broke above the resistance, and we can start to use that as support. So at this point, we could look for 30 comebacks to get in on the action, or break above 35 to continue the rally, right? So then we go a little bit closer. Let's go to the daily, right? And now you see it a little bit closer, right? And you can go to the weekly too. The weekly is going to help a little bit because you can see that drive up, pullbacks to the 9 EMA on the daily, on the weekly, seem to be holding well right now. That's around the 3150. So let's go to the daily chart. Now we go in a little bit closer. Now we can draw trend lines. Now we can draw a little bit more of the approach that it's trying right now, which is trying to get back to this Thursday high of 3360. Now you could still get a little bit more of a reload because you can see here, every time it's coming in this spot, it's kind of getting some reload action, but there still could be one more dip into that area before we get the 35 breakout. So in my eyes, I think you got in a nice little drive up, a pull back, a drive up, a pull back, a drive up. I'd look for some type of pullback to 32s to hold, and then the next move through 34 could be that real strong move. So essentially something that plays out like this, test this one more time, maybe even gets into this area. You know, you don't know if it's going to whoosh there, but it could create some more support there, and then finally starting to play upright through that trend line and back through 34. Strong chart, nice volume here on this day. The MACD trying to cross. So if I was already in, I'd actually use that as an indicator to tell me if I timed it right. If this crosses in the next 2 days and starts to show you a move where it expands away from the yellow line like this, that's what you want to see here, right? On IMAX, man. And I don't talk IMAX often, but let's take a look really quickly at CNK, a name that's going to trade similarly to it. Not exactly it, but will trade similar. CNK trying to get back above. You can take a look at the monthly. Distance and building off support, right? We'll see what happens there in CNK. And if you really wanted to be a degenerate, you could look at AMC, but I will leave AMC.
Don't look at AMC.
Yeah, you don't look at that one.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. There's no need. Look at CNK that's better quality to kind of compare if you are a big IMAX bull, let's call it. And trust me, I like IMAX too. It's a really cool theater. But they
Good Canadian company, that IMAX. A lot of people don't know that. That's one of our 2 tech companies that we are allowed to have.
My thing that I think they did wrong was they went away from having actual like IMAX theaters and more selling their technology to theaters to put in, right? So now you go to an AMC and there's like one IMAX theater inside of an AMC. So I think that was a good and bad thing because the whole competitive advantage was those screens and the quality of the sound. If you give that away, the licensing is there, but it's just not as cool, right? So I don't know. Then maybe they need to do a little bit something different. You know what they need to do, Michael? They need to get the IMAX, I don't know, in the Sphere or something like that. Start creating something like that. Now that would be an interesting concept, right? Like
that would
changing it up. Some type of innovation with the quality sound and video. But that's just me just talking, right? So what's going on, Michael? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. It's Groundhog Day all over again. Another new all-time high. Looks like crypto got spooked a little bit yesterday, but it's recovering now anyway.
Yeah,
don't know what happened there. It was weird. Did you see any news? It was like I just looked and it was Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these things were down like 5% in like an hour.
I think some of the things that we got to keep thinking about is like on a day like that where it was such a flight to quality, did people or like bigger hands, did they just sell out some of their Bitcoin and then just put it into some of the bigger tech names?
Well, right? I wonder.
Was there just like a little rotation there and like to like play some of these tech names because it was a big run yesterday in tech.
Yeah, and you can see both in these were, so this is what, 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. You just had these like just huge kind of down move, and not not like a crash like we saw before, but 5% down in both Ethereum and Bitcoin in just a couple hours
this
was
is why it's hard to trade crypto, right? I
yeah.
mean,
No, you got to do so small. You have to just like whatever you're doing, you've got to have so much, and obviously
that's
avoid leverage,
yeah,
guys.
that's where I think you and I always catch those big Bitcoin guys trading with millions
Mhm.
and millions. I'm like, holy crap, dude, that would give me such a heart attack, dude.
Well, and right, I did a
Such a
little
heart
tweet
attack.
I can see find on my channel where there was what 100 and this one another $200 million was liquidated last night from
Wow.
Bitcoin, and they can see these because again this is all on chain. You could look at it, but
Yeah.
another 210 million, and then I remember in the last liquidation event it was billions. It was like 16 billion, and then when it bounced, there was another tweet about how there was like 500 million of shorts liquidated.
Yeah.
So it's insanity. It's on both sides, and that was the kind of
Insanity
joke I
indeed.
made. I said next up 200 million of shorts knocked out, and there's some amount of market making or something that knows, and again you could just look at it. You can buy services that tell you where liquidation triggers are because it's all on chain.
Hmm.
You can just, and you guarantee you there's a couple funds here that are
Just
yeah.
targeting, right? They're specifically targeting areas that they know they can create washes. Let's be honest, it's the old classic. If you have a lot of money, you can play with the market, man. um,
Yeah, 100%. And it's unlike the difference with crypto versus equities. Is right, equities everything is regulated and hidden and things like this, but with crypto it's all on chain. Like you can
yeah.
see, like, everyone's looking at people's wallets. They know what Binance's wallet address is, and you can just go
Hmm.
watch it at any time. And there's a lot of algos that use things like this and say if people are dumping money onto exchange, then they're probably doing that because they want to sell. And if people are taking money off of exchange and holding it in personal wallets, they're probably doing that because they want to hold. So there's a whole other level of data in crypto that we just don't have in stocks, and that's what a lot of these people are doing and looking at, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a weird one.
It is. It is. It's something to think about, guys. We'll see what happens with that and how it plays in. Of course, today is Fed Day, and it's going to get the cut. Now, the only question is, can we get some type of surprise? Will it be a 50 basis point cut?
I think
I
the
don't.
current markets have a near 100% chance. I think there's only a 1% chance. So if you want to make a ton of money, or if you want to gamble a bit, you
Hey,
could take the 1% odds. And
yeah.
if I'm JPow, I'm just saying right now, if I'm JPow, I know I'm fired in a couple weeks. I'm putting like a couple million on those that 1% odds, and then I'm cutting 50 basis points and just say crime's legal. Like,
Yeah. What can you do?
walk
Right.
away with $100 million and just go there. I'm done.
Well, maybe he pulls a rosier and tells a friend.
Yeah,
Ooh,
you tell a
shots
friend, you call
fired.
bud or something
Shots
like that.
fired, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
just if I got good old Jerome Powell, I'm gonna tell him, hey, man, just cut 50, dude. Or you know what?
yeah.
Better yet, be like, I don't have data, so I'm not gonna cut.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, you'll see everybody flip.
Yeah,
Uh,
that would tank the market. But just like we always say, it's not about the event because we know what is going to happen. It's
hmm
gets on stage and starts yapping, and the reporters kind of poke him to say certain things and to pick certain questions. So that's at 2:30, I think, right when he actually starts talking.
Yeah, the fireworks, the fireworks. Jim, you're more than welcome, my friend, to come on the show anytime. Just reach out to us. Of course, you can reach out to us on Twitter. You can reach out to us on email. Anyway, really. I mean, like I always say, the door's open to you guys and would love to have you guys on for conversations, whether it be specific strategy talk, market talk, or maybe you just want to just come on and shoot the with us, man. And I won't be mad at
All
you,
right,
right?
all right.
So,
Yeah, so just a quick look at the market before we open, and
yeah.
it's kind of the
Take
same
a
as the
look.
last couple days, as we have some sort of gap overnight, and then we just get range bound all night, and that's kind of what I see happening here, where and I am sure you touched on this as well. It was a great day for the markets, but at least, here we go. Last time I checked, this is probably new data, but it was only like 20% of stocks in the market that were up. So it wasn't a huge day for individual names. So that's why I wanted to bring up and look at the RSP, right? The RSP was actually down yesterday. So your average large cap stock actually gave a little bit of ground. And often I've noticed that when these things decouple for a day, and it was, it's 0.86%, so it was pretty significant. When these decouple for a day, they'll probably decouple for multiple days. And that will probably have a lot to do with the earnings and everything that's coming up. So, take a look at the SPY and just know that this is essentially like the Qs at this point, right? It's really, in the last couple of days, this massive surge we've had higher is just large cap kind of tech, right?
Yeah.
So,
and this is why I tend to start looking for these names going into the earnings, right? And I think at this point, what happens is it's like, what do? You open up a new position in Microsoft here? No, man. It just doesn't make sense now, right? And unless you were positioned in prior, it's almost impossible to come in here and judge it here, because this is what I mean by sometimes being the pig, right? Now you're caught, and they have to almost the expectation on the bar for Microsoft just moved higher with this move. It didn't move lower, right? And so at this point, Microsoft has to completely kill it for this kind of gas pedal to continue on the upside, right?
Well, and there is a phenomenon of stocks just drifting that has been studied and quantified and everything, of stocks drifting up in bull markets, stocks drip up into earnings, and in bear markets, it seems that stocks drift down into earnings, just to show that sentiment. But
and it's not always right, but it's a good way to go about it, right?
And so, good question. Curious in your thoughts, if you jump into something and it starts going sideways, that's got to be time stops. I think are the most underutilized and the most important side of things. And some people call it a shot clock, and I think that's a fair way to call it. But you have to. It just got to be part of your if-then statement when you take a trade. Is that your setup should expect to happen quickly, and it's going to be different, I think, depending on the setup in general. But that should be how it goes. Is I'm going to buy this stock at 10. If it gets to 9, I'm going to get stopped out. And I'm going to give it X period of time. And you just lay that out on the groundwork, because you can look, and even on a swing side of things, Intel is a perfect example. I know people who bought it and actually have a really good price on it now, but it took them 2 years to realize that gain. So if you look at that and say, well, the realized or the unrealized return I'm getting is amazing, but I had to take 2 years to get it. If I had my money in the S&P 500 over that long period of time, it would have worked most. So, and generally speaking, it's one of those where I would take a second in each individual setup. Is going to work differently. So, like breakouts should work right away, right? You should have a shorter time frame on that. Mean reversion, or if you're buying support, maybe you give that a little bit more time. So setup dependent, but definitely, just like your stop loss has to be planned right before you hit the button.
And I think one of the things that you really need to do is just look at your statistics, guys. Look at the data, right? Do long position holds help you or hurt you? The data will tell you, right? Your longest holds, are those beneficial to you, or do they usually hurt you? And that's what you need to be kind of also looking into. I think that's going to tell you a big sign. For me, a lot of the times, I'm not going to hold loser for multiple days on the swing side. It's just not going to be there, right? I'll just cut it real quick.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next point with a market wizard who's a great guy who's...
Market's open. Let's have some fun, guys.
Yeah, the Peter Bryant. You should read that in the Unknown Market Wizards. He has a whole thing. And he's got processes like, if the stock's down on Friday, I'm out. And things like that. Doesn't matter if I bought it on Thursday. And he's a really long-term guy. So, yeah, it's got to be part of a kind of a systematic plan. But just keep that in mind. So just right off the bat, a little bit of a opening dump there in the SPY. We got to keep an eye on. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it, but they're working on my driveway there, so I think I've got the sound gate working. But
Short
it
a
might be
little bit
some
of lumen here,
dogs.
guys. Short a little bit of lumen here to start it off. It's on a wash type of look. It has the earnings tonight. I'm just looking to see if it can break 10 here and really kind of wash out. I'm going to keep this really tight to start, but if it just wants to wash right out the gates, I'm going to give it the chance to wash through this 10. You could still go back to 1050. That's kind of another approach for me on lumen, but we'll see what happens there. Let's get after it, guys.
Oh yeah, geez. Well, it did happen as you were talking.
Oh yeah. There's that push to the 1050 here. So the good thing is I'm small sized here, but at the same time, I'm going to give it a little second here to see if it whooshes right back down. Not the 1050 break is a danger spot. So I had a like kind of green to red type of approach or just wash through 10 approach. It's been really fast here, so I'm just trying to just hold in here for a second. But yeah, 1050s can come in a hurry. They bought it up right there. There was about 10,000 shares at 1008 and 40,000 shares at 996. That was really the big buyer that stepped up there and kind of held the support. Just going to look to see if it just rejects the resistance here. If not, get out and then look to get back in. Huntsman gave me an alert. SQM also looking good there. RX starting to make a little bit of a move on the swing side. I'm back in again. I just cut it out yesterday and I'm back in.
So this is an interesting, just looking at the SPY off the open, is did kind of the same thing. We had a nice little undercut of this pre-market. Now we're right back through. We're through VWAP. So our little strategy we're working on here actually just triggered on the S&P 500, kind of that wide. So that is going to be something to take a look at as well. I'll be interested. It'll be easy to do, and I'm going to do a back test of this just on like the Qs. And even if it's okay and not great, it's going to give me more confidence to trade it for individual stocks, just knowing that, again, it's going to be easier to pick names that are in play and names that are interesting. And now we're rallying pretty significantly here. So a nice little undercut and rally there for sure on the S&P 500. Just dropped it right off the bat. Now, again, we talked about everything that's going on. We've talked about JPOW. We've talked about earnings, all of that. So would not surprise me if we get a lot of these kind of moves today. But that's encouraging anyway, to see that drop and then rip back through.
Rejecting the resistance there on Lumen. Now getting a little tighter. Don't want it back above the 1020 spot, but looking for the flush right back below 10. Trying to keep it within the range, right? Did add a little bit to RXRX there. Not a crazy amount. Right by my entry. Just needed to hold 6 today and break out above 6.
One trade I'm watching here is UNH for the same move that happened yesterday, just because it was so good. You can see the one little green arrow right here on UNH, and this thing just ground, you had like a nice hour or so of profits. And I took UNHG. That was a great play. So I'm just going to see if that happens again. Maybe a little undercut here off the open, back through VWAP. I'll take UNHG again.
I'm in here on Cleveland Cliff, guys. Just took a good amount there, 300 shares, willing to add on any pullback. But there it goes. It's looking really good here. I'm going to size into this one. I've been wanting to take a big position in this one. I'm taking it today.
Big, it's steel has been, everyone seems to have dumped their silver and dumped their gold. Now they're all in on steel.
Yeah, it just looks great here, guys. I'm looking for a nice, I got 600 shares already. Any pullbacks? For me, this could go straight to 15 today.
Yeah, so UNH looks like it might be getting close to triggering here. And again, this is just because it was such an amazing trade yesterday, and it's right at that area. It's right at these lows from yesterday.
FLNC doing well today, just to put it out there, guys.
So if we get a nice pop,
SQM should be a swing for me already. just keep missing it.
And UNHG is the target here.
About to get out on Lumen.
White House. Korean Air will buy 130 Boeing aircrafts, and Boeing's tanking. That seems like that should be a good thing.
Yeah, Boeing is just, I don't know what to say about them.
Oh, this is just like, imagine trying to trade this company that's
rigged.
done nothing from 2019. Like, it's like nothing.
There's a nice move there in Cleveland Cliff up to 1455. Now I'm just looking for comebacks to add.
Well, that's right. Yeah,
Lumen.
UNH with juice. Yeah, UNHG. Right, it's fairly liquid, so I did just pick up a little bit there at 23.37, and then the stop is just going to go initially at the low of the day. Again, you can see the single buy trigger that happened yesterday from the strategy, and then a nice 5% rip on that one. So never see y'all mess with pennies. Personally, not a big fan of penny stocks. I know Josh and them do it, and good for them.
I can do it, but I just feel like it's just like not consistent enough to stay on. Right? Like I'll go to it when I feel like I look at the gappers and it's just like every day a penny stock runner. That's when I'll go trade a little bit of the penny stocks, guys. I think
there's periods of time that they're super hot, and there's periods of time that they're boring as hell. But
that's the key. That's the key with penny stock. You can't just. I think personally, you can't just trade penny stocks. I don't think that's a recipe for success.
No.
VIX is jumping, man. They're buying protection for today.
Don't blame them, right? If you're a giant hedge fund manager and you have a J-Pow speech, and then you also have everyone in the world reporting earnings over the last few days, it does not surprise me to see a little bit of VIX spike there. Right? A little bit of people, not because they're just being responsible. I think it might not even just be I'm worried about the market. It might just be I'm a responsible investor, and I feel like I should put a little bit in the hopper when it comes to these things.
Well, look at that Cleveland Cliff breakout here, guys. Not a bad one here. I'm trying to sell it into the 70s right now, or 65s. But let's see if we can get there. Look at that. That's a nice little Cleveland Cliff, baby. There we go.
Oh, we got a bud. I'm yanking you in.
Trying to sell here,
What
guys.
up, Steve?
Trying to sell.
I pulled you in a little prematurely, maybe. Or you muted, one of the two.
All right, trying to sell into this move here, guys. There we go. Get up there.
Yes.
Well, good morning, guys.
Oh, there you go.
Boom.
Hey,
what's going on?
That's how we do it.
Well,
all right, guys. Well, took the first L there on Lumen. Got caught on that short, but then took a 187 win in Cleveland Cliff right now.
Nice.
Boom, boom. Nice little win right there in Cleveland Cliff.
Man, you guys are so fast. I'm getting my bearings here.
I don't think you'd be mad about trading this one too. You know what I mean? That opening candle on the 15.
That candle out of bed for eating crackers. That's a good candle.
That's the Cleveland Cliff, baby. And it's still going. I just sold it fast too because I took a first loser. If I didn't take the first loser, I'm probably holding on to this bad boy right now. But that's also a way of what? Managing the day, right? You take an outsized loss. I want to keep my losses between about 60. We just talked about this, right? It's going to happen where you're going to get an outsized loss, especially if you're subjective like me with tinfoil hats. And so you got to be able to just take it and then just also be like, okay, well, this is more than double the gain here. I'm going to take it. I'm just going to take my win. If I need to reload into Cleveland Cliff, I can come back in it. But now I'm in the green with a cushion, and the Lumen trade just goes right out the window. It's like I just tossed it in the trash, right? And that's how trading needs to be, guys. That's how trading needs to be.
I know James is long. but I my bot just shorted Lumen. I just saw.
Oh, Lumen, that's the one I just shorted, man.
Yeah, shorted at 10:45.
You know, this is one that we brought up at $5,
Right, so during
Michael.
that spike.
$5 we brought
I know.
Lumen here. It was one of my good friends been looking at this one. It's fiber optics for the data centers. So
Makes sense.
Yeah, super hot sector. Another one to watch in this one is AAOI. That was the way I played this because I missed this one.
I like it. I like it. Twist
Yeah,
giving
both
me an
beautiful.
alert. Twist giving me an alert. They're trying to wash me again in RX. This RX, man. She's giving me the fits.
That one loves pumping and then
Dude, I was up like 420 earlier this week and I didn't take it. 'Cause it was like 4.5 and I'm trying to get to the 5-1 and it just like, you know
Dude,
what I
does
mean?
that always happen to you too? Whenever you shoot for a specific multiple or risk reward?
So I've gotten on this account right now, I'm 7-1. So it's kind of hard not to take at least 5-1 because I don't want to ruin that. I've been really good at it. But it's one of those things like, yeah, man, it's just frustrating, right? Because sometimes it's going to happen, man, where you get a really nice winner and it just comes back on you.
Absolutely.
That's just a part of the swing trading game, right? If you're trying to ride momentum, sometimes the momentum is going to come back on you. And it was nice. It was just a trend line approach. And I was looking for I needed like probably about 20 cents more. That's it, guys. So like we're talking 20 cents, right? Sometimes that's where you got to like think about, am I just being a little too picky? Those types of questions come playing in, right? Qualcomm, that was one of my top trades to look at. And this is why, Michael, we need the bot because look at that trade right there. Look at that trade right there.
Ready when you are. I figure now that you've got your
That was it.
That
was it, man. Did you see it?
your big boy
See that
account.
one? I'm sure it triggered too.
Well, look at where the
Look at that trigger
green
on that
arrow.
one. And
So
this was a
would've-
good winner for me yesterday. It just stopped right here at the 183. So this is your resistance. This is where the price action yesterday did not want to get hot through. So if it gets hot through here, 185, 187 can come quickly back into play.
Yeah, and you can see again right here where the 180, 160 roughly would have been the trigger. And again, you can see the green arrow right there. So that would have been purely sent to your account. So I think once they get you your live 50K account, you get the fearless leader to get you another, let's say 25K or something like that account, and you give me the credentials because you'll be signed into one side, and we'll get you going on the other side, where I think that'll be a really cool experiment.
Yeah. Here's another one that I'll look for the pattern today. 250 cut down on CRM and then back above here. So CRM, if it can change tunes today, get back above the VWAP, that could be one that could trigger.
So this one right here it would have already had, according to the system, would have already triggered here at the high of this candle. Right. And I always use 2 minute. You could look at 1 minute. But yeah, 2 minutes
not
seems
gonna
to
make
be
too
like
much of a difference.
Good kind of happy medium between like too frequent and too crazy and something else. So
Cleveland,
Michael, I'm curious.
Right at the top.
Would you mind pulling up open? I'm wondering how it's responding to your system there. I have a hunch that it might be doing something. Something similar.
there.
Rocket is another one I'd watch today.
So yeah, what we're doing, Steve, is because Mitch has been trading this kind of undercut and rally system. It's been working for him. And of course, like I do, I'm like, well, why don't you systematize it? We can do that now. So I just built this little indicator in TradingView he's going to open up an eval account that he's not going to have access to. Every morning, he's going to give me a list of here's the names to add to that I think that this particular system would work on each day. I'm going to add him in, and I'm not going to tell him how the account's doing. Maybe like once a day or once every couple days, we'll say, here's how your eval's doing.
That's beautiful. I love that. Oh, we're getting a nice expansion on SPY here, right up to where I would expect a decision to be made. Pre-market highs and my bull pivot.
FCX, guys, that's an alert for me. FCX, I was looking to see if it wanted to run today. It has some gas here, guys. I'm going to try to get in.
Nice. Dr. Kappa.
Dr. Kappa. There you go. I'm looking for the 42 break here. I just took a long there on the day trade account.
See if it wants to just make a quick move through 42.
James is saying AREB is running. The American Rebel.
Oh no! To get that off the screen.
Yeah, no, that's
She's
the
dead to me.
The old American Rebel.
She's dead to me, man.
You know, I am looking at ASST here, and I might be crazy. I might have Stockholm syndrome, but
Yep.
I kind of want to play. I don't know. I look like I might be holding that 140 where there was a lot of buyers yesterday. I wanted it to come down to 125-ish, but maybe not.
Yep. You're crazy. Yeah, it is Stockholm syndrome.
What do you mean? That's not a perfect textbook chart to you? Come on, look at that.
This is one of those. I do a lot of once a week I go on the Stock Twits network, and they're just basically people asking questions of, hey, what do you think of this stock? What do you think of this stock? And I'm always like the bearer of bad news because they'll bring stuff like this to me. I'm like, likely zero.
You know, Michael, I knew what you were going to say, but I still said it anyway. I don't know. You know, sometimes. All right, this is my toxic trait: buying like $10 0.05 delta options on a stock like this, and then it works once a year, and it pays for the next 10 dumb attempts. But
it's only down 93% this month.
We call this value investing. You know,
it can get better. RSP still negative, even with the SPY positive. So showing us it's definitely kind of a big cap tech day.
Mm-hmm. And are you just are you just reading this this historic breadth move as flight to the lifeboat / what is moving for earnings, or how are you interpreting it?
I think a lot of it's going to be year-end window dressing.
Okay.
Like, imagine being a portfolio manager who underperformed the S&P 500, which I think we're going to see historic underperformance. Like just not seen since like 2008 when it comes to hedge fund managers. And imagine having to report to them that you don't own Qualcomm and you don't own Nvidia and you don't own these things. Like, I think a lot of what we're going to see going into the end of the year is just people trying desperately not to get fired.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That face when no goog, you know, and the poor, that's not good. Got to have those winners.
Well, and I don't have my commitment to trader data with the government shutdown, but I would imagine these guys still haven't covered or even got more short during that kind of flash crash type of thing we had with the great cooking oil disaster of 2025.
We dodged a bullet there.
I would imagine that would have really kind of vindicated some of these shorts, and they may even have stepped on the gas just a little bit. I don't have the data to back that up because it doesn't update. But if that's the case, then again, this historic underperformance. We've been saying it all year. These guys have been short all year and wrong all year. So if it's continuing, then there's going to have to be this big catch-up trade, and they're going to target the leaders, I think. And then crazy things like quantum computers and
stepping up here in FCX, guys.
And I'm watching SPY here. I'm not liking that look so far, but I'm not ready to short yet. I'm just seeing ping pong between testing the breakout, now testing VWAP. Just big top wick, big bottom wick. I will watch.
I'm in the camp that today and maybe tomorrow are just going to be nightmare days.
Yes. I'm not day trading today, full disclosure, because it does not seem fun. So I'm not going to do
it. JPOW, right? Microsoft, Meta, Google today, Amazon, Apple, and things like Coinbase tomorrow. So this, between these 2 days, I think it's like, I read somewhere it's 50% of the S&P 500 by market cap in 2 days, which is just nuts.
Yeah.
And then the government will probably reopen at the same time. It's just you seem to get all of these like news events, they all cluster together, and it just becomes a nightmare in which no one can figure out what to do, right? It's not bullish, it's not bearish, it's some combination of the two.
Yeah, it just adds such a added level of complexity to systems traders or to anybody who's trading with rules and off technical analysis. I mean, who likes it when your system breaks? I haven't been trading much this week because I primarily trade mean reversion. And each morning I get a sell signal and SPY just keeps going. So I'm just not listening to my system until it kind of, or I'm playing other systems until it normalizes.
Well, and that's one of the places that discretion makes sense, is the ability to know that there's something crazy happening in the market that the system would not, a change of character or something like that, and kind of stepping out, right? With 2020, it's like one of the best decisions I've ever made. Is I remember that famous during COVID when I think it was Italy, and they were just showing like all the military trucks with like coffins going on. I went to cash and I just shut everything off. Said okay. So I definitely missed the bottom too, because I was later turning it back on. But just missing all of that volatility meant that year my systems did way better, kind of under my guidance than they would have alone.
Sorry, I'm listening, but that was a shake and bake candle there. Also, open is moving very nicely. I'm in a swing from previously, so I didn't add there, but I wish I did.
Rocket
Yeah, so
recovering. I think that's a good one to watch for. That's the undercut and rally right there, Michael. I'm sure that triggered there on Rocket.
Which Rocket?
RKT.
RKT. There's like 3 of them.
Yeah, talking interest rate sensitive. I put this on the radar today. I think this is a good one to look for.
Yes, that would have been here at 1750, and then with a stop at 1728 or so. And yeah, the idea is with this is I want you to give me like 20 potential triggers.
Yeah, that's just create a watch list. They'll be based on daily charts, just strictly daily charts, and
then these are the ones like kind of two, because I'm going to split this indicator in half. So these are the longs, these are the potential shorts, if you want to do shorts, and then just
I think it just depend on the market environment, right? I think in bull markets, especially for trend trading, it just makes sense to go up, right? And then if we start to see complete leaks, then you look more for the short setups, which will be green to red, right? These are red to green moves. Essentially, we'd be just trading the green to red move, right?
What I expect is going to happen, and what's going to be interesting, this is my plan, Steve, to get Mitch fully systematic. Because what I hope is, and what I expect is that this system is going to beat him in his normal trading.
And I love the confidence. I love it. I don't disagree either. And that hurts me to say because Mitch is a better trader than me. So that means your system's going to smoke me. But
hey,
well, that's what happened to me. Like, so it's
I'm not keeping it. It's for everybody.
I had a long chat with a guy who's now the co-host of my podcast. We have about systematic trading when I was still getting my feet wet and still getting convinced. And he's like, well, just do a bake-off. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, open up another brokerage account, move half your money over there, and fully don't ever touch it. Don't ever fully systematize it, and then keep half of your money where it is now. And in interactive brokers, it's easy. You can just create 2 accounts and split them. And yeah, start trading your own money and call me in 6 months. And the other one did better. It made more money with less volatility. Then it's the whole, well, why the hell am I, why am I stressing out? Why am I doing all this work? And that was the thing that really convinced me to go, okay, it's time to.
So they always wash them before they send them, guys. I can't say this enough, right? Can't say this enough. When you see a good setup, you tell yourself, wait to the wash. Don't get too antsy too early because that's how you get wrecked in rockets today.
Yeah.
So you just got to be okay missing it, right? Because if it just ripped from there, you just have to go, all right.
Well,
I miss it.
And gap and go trades are the hardest. Like where it's just open, just like let's say like on Cleveland Cliff, right? Just what we call some will call it a God candle, some will call it a boner candle. But you know what I mean? Yeah. Those are the ones that are the hardest to grab because it was just straight upside, no drop. Those are going to be your hardest ones to grab. So you could also just chalk those up to just being like, well, it is what it is, right? I can't stress about it now. But I always think that when buying on weakness just gives you that better risk to return,
right? If you're the type of trader that like me, that you're looking for, let's say 3-to-1 outlook or higher, you kind of need to buy near the support, because if you're buying breakouts on resistance and expecting that same outlook, more than likely not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's just also the approach that your style of trading. If you're a breakout trader or you're more a support buyer and looking for resistance and then the breakout, because then you could sell at resistance or you could look for the continuation. That's the way I like to go about it.
Yeah, no, that's
the
I just
last
love it.
piece of the
That's
puzzle.
literally what I do. It's in a good day. It's just very comfortable, you know. It's
Yeah.
very it helps smooth the
FCX
edges of
looking
the
really well,
volatility.
guys. Looking really well here on FCX. So now at this point, I'm just going to set my 46 stop at 41.89. Let her work. This looks really nice on FCX. I wanted to buy Cleveland Cliff below 1450s, but I don't got enough buying power.
Oh, Steve's going to be happy here. My robot has bought Oscar.
Oh, I don't even know
Oh,
if I'm
good
happy.
Lord.
That thing's traumatized me. Yeah, I mean, it's probably time.
It's kind of a Fibonacci, or is it a VWAP kind of trading strategy? So it just picks them up there at 1978. So it's right there. So I just look at this one. If I look at the daily chart, it just has this
Looks good.
history of ripping all day and then just falling apart entirely.
Going cockeyed after
Yeah,
that.
Over
as soon
again.
as I mention it, it does. It takes a big Oscar on the couch and it just all the way back down every time. It's a tough one.
That's how it is.
But those are the only two. So it's Oscar and Lumen. The short of Lumen, it's not doing anything, right? I think I'm getting like 10. I don't know, it's up a little bit. So I'm down even more. Down like 15, 20 cents on it. And then Oscar just entered. So
Come on, FCX. Just start moving, man. Copper looked good in this morning. And this was an exercise that I literally did with you guys live on how I find plays. And you guys found me looking at FCX today before the open. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I think you guys can really learn from me, right? And that's just looking into sectors, looking at what industries were hot. And this morning, I just found, well, copper's on a breakout. SCCO is your best name. And I looked for what? Leaders to laggard. FCX still hadn't gone. I'm going to watch to see if it goes today. There's nothing special about it. It's just more looking for rotation, looking for industries to get hot. And when you trade industries that are hot, a lot of the times, I'm going to tell you guys, that's how you end up in the green, man. Because you're just trading like 5 or 6 names that are green, right? If I look at copper, what's leading basic materials today? It's copper, 1.6%. Out of the names, there's only 2 in the red. And one of them is like a no trade type of name. The rest of them, all green. And that is how you find a trade, because they're all green, right? Like the odds of you, if you're trading it to the upside, I mean, and you don't trade green, well, then, you need to kind of review how you're trading. But at the same time, that's what you want to find. That kind of leverage can really help. All right, going to look for this to continue driving. It shouldn't pull back to the 42 now. It should just take out that 42.20s and then just start the drive. The volume's increasing into the move, not decreasing into the move. And you're also starting to see step-ups here above 42.10s. So big size above 42.10, essentially.
it's important because, we talk about it all the time. Is the sector is going to make up 60-70% of the returns of the equity, right? If you are in the best stock in the world, the best copper stock in the world, but no one gives a crap about copper and it's tanking, you're going to lose money, even if it's the best copper stock that's out there. It's just the way it's going to happen. And so, finding these kind of sectors and then rotations within sectors are very common as well, where you can have, maybe they go for the best looking name or the highest quality name first, and then maybe they trade a little bit more of the junkier names, and you see this kind of happen over and over again. But Kevin, who's talking about this guy, this is just all you have to do is bring up. Oh, I don't. That's not how we do it. I've been here before, huh? There, here. I brought up your stock. This is why you just, if you ever see a stock that looks like this in the 2-minute charts, just avoid entirely. If you're trying to swing it forever, maybe. This is not the reason that this is not moving is because nobody cares about it. It's on $8,000 or 8,000 shares, $80,000 happening as well. So
This is that's from my good buddy Kevin. These are names where I need to take a swing and just have
yes.
high confidence and let a limit order fill. And then because
and just know that if something bad happens, your
Mhm.
stop is going to your actual out is going to be huge compared to what you think it's going to be. If you put a stop loss at $10 here, you're getting filled at like 975, 950, right? So just know that. Now that also means there's illiquidity is like leverage. It's a double-edged sword. It will cut both ways. It's
Exactly.
it means that it only traded 8,000 shares today. So it means that it could pop up nicely. But then the other thing I'd always ask myself is, why is this thing on the OTC? That's a question that I think you always have to answer. And sometimes it's legitimate. Like this one doesn't look like it's a horrible company. This might just be, there might be some reason. But I always just look at it and say, if you can't get listed on the NASDAQ, I get kind of worried because to get listed on the NASDAQ is not a hard thing to do. I think American Rebel Holdings is listed on the NASDAQ. So if you can't, again, sometimes for the marijuana plays, they're not allowed to legally, and then some other things, there might be problems behind it. But anytime I see an OTC listed stock, I get worried because you by definition won't get heavy institutional involvement in an OTC stock, because quite often if you're an institution, they can't. They're not allowed. They're not legally allowed to trade or to invest in these names. They just can't do it. So be careful.
Are you guys playing China for the trade talk? I'm curious.
Too late.
Too late?
Too late.
Maybe you sell the news thing, a giant sell the news thing. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Interesting.
Those are always buy the rumor, sell the news kind of things, man.
I tend to agree, but when I look at these weekly charts, I just see big old bases that broke out and back tested.
I mean, yeah, you can keep going with China, right? It's just that now you're trading it up. Just wait. I'm the type of guy where, like, if you're trying to trade China now, you're just opening yourself up to like headline risk on the downside. It's like it's
Mitch,
great.
I love this. I love hearing it.
It's great. It's great to trade it now, but now that's why I like to be such early on the move, right?
Buying a stock into earnings. It could, it could gap up huge in your favor, or it could get absolutely crushed, and you don't. Which doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means you need to know that there is a binary event that's occurring that could either make you a ton of money or lose you a ton of money, and it's likely going to come out when
the
market's
downside risk can
closed
be 20% and things like that. That's when I start to try to stay away from those types of trades, because it's like trading Palantir here. Yeah, it could go higher, but really the odds are a 20% pullback or 30% pullback, and those sometimes to me are just not worth it. But it's up to you guys, right? And what it is more you have to be quick on the sell too. You can't now be like, oh, I'm just gonna hold and hold and hold, because you're in the middle of the chart, right? The middle of the chart is the recipe of disaster, man. That's where I tell you, you become a pig really quickly. And pigs get slaughtered in this market.
You're not wrong, Mr. Kramer. No, that's a great point. But I gotta say, the contrarian in me, I'm loving what I'm hearing.
I'll tell you a better one. Look at SQM, and I'm not gonna say it again for everyone out there. Everyone just keeps like ignoring this stock. Some point, I don't think they'll ignore it. They'll definitely be talking about it. And this is like a yearly trend reversing. Just like we were looking at China, and I know Michael and I were early on, like China was reversing, but it was to play it like, let's say on FXI in the 30s. Now you're in the 40s. Now you're starting to get away from those areas, and it gets harder and harder if you don't catch that kind of first momentum, and then the pullback to 30 was really the move, right?
Yeah.
And then you got another gift in April. Where did it go to? 29.20s, right back to the 30s on FXI. So those types of moves, I think, are the ones that you kind of have to jump on, especially if you missed the first one. I'll still always think about shop at 45, and then I look at it now and I'm just like, dude, I got 3 opportunities for it. If you miss 3 opportunities and you don't take it, well, you'll look back a lot of the times and be like, man, right? So
Straight up. No,
shop
I
is almost 180 just to kind of put in perspective now, right? Shop is 180, guys. 45. You know what I mean? You're like, what did I do to that, man? So I think it's always about like finding the early move because it just puts you in a position of strength.
Yeah,
Going
no
in
doubt.
now is not the strength move. It's more just ride the coattails, right? So you're like kind of riding other traders. You're not riding your own trade. You're riding other traders' momentum that have juiced up the stock below you, right?
Right.
So
Yeah,
which
now that you're
one would
putting
you
it,
like if there's a specific name in China?
which one would I
Just-
like? I love PDD.
James just asked a question. I don't know. I read this a couple times. I don't know what you mean. So you might want to rephrase that.
I would take the
$10
$10
on
on a $2
100.
stock because I'd
Well,
be
if
up
you're
a
talking
lot more.
percentage, or you talking you're making $10 or you're making $10 per share, right? Because one of those is obviously better than the other. So I just don't know. Again, I always remind people you're paid in percentage, right? That's how you make money in this game. Is what percentage uh, are you making on the invested capital? That's really all that matters, right? If you're putting in, it doesn't matter if it's $100 stock or $1,000 stock or a $2 stock or a 10-cent stock, right? If you're putting in $10,000 and you make 10%, you made $1,000, right? Uh, it's a lower price stock is going to be easier to make 10% on. You're also going to be easier to lose 10% on, right? So just don't think in points terms, right? Always think in percentage terms. A little bit of pullback there. Just want to point out here in the market, we had the break of the pre-market high and then a little bit of a rug pull there. Again, just more of that choppy action, FOMC, choppy
VIX
action
moving up.
with
The XX moving up.
a lot of things on the go. So just keep that in mind. That look at these candles. Just look at the wicks on all of these 2-minute candles right here, and then just compare them to like a normal day. Right? Not nearly as kind of wicky and choppy and
Oil
crazy.
ripping XOM. Looking good.
Healthcare, or at least Oscar got a
XLE
little
just
bit
got above 87.75. Looks interesting for a scalp up there to 88.
Yeah, I'm up a few bucks. I'm still waiting for my Oscar reimbursement for the swings, but the day trades have been. I think it's traded it twice, and I think, well, knock on wood, this one
God
looks like
bless
the
it.
winner. Last one was a winner.
I think the check got lost in the mail. Check again next week.
Okay, I'll take a look. I'll go down.
Yeah, you might have to take a look.
Probably government shutdown. There's a lot going on. So watching SPY into VWAP into point of control here. Seeing buyers underneath a little bit, but want to see that reclaim to get involved. I'm not even going to get involved, but just to be short-term momentum bullish here. I'm looking at SoFi. I kind of want to nibble here. It's off my hourly trigger, trying to double bottom, but I think it's a little early, so I'm gonna hold off for now.
Yeah, I think you got to get the weekly back to 30.
I think we're gonna look back and that'll be a bottom tick, but only because I'm not buying. So them's the rules, right?
Yeah, it's just it's a tough candle off of yesterday's, right? So like you get above the high there, but your body's still really close to the body of yesterday. They're showing you more and more. It's not enough juice to get it through the 32 right now, I think. And so with that, it could be a reload at 30.
That's exactly what I'm looking for, brother. I got my alert
Reload
set.
at 30, man. Reload at 30 seems to be right. And
Maybe
SoFi
30,
loves
30?
to do this.
Do you like I'm looking in the range from the previous swing high to that 30 psychological?
Right in there, right? So you look for it to undercut that, but hold the 30.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
what I would watch, right? Like the 30-20 spot, undercut that, start to see volume on the flow, and then you start to see it come back, right? Still holding in FCX. I did cut RX Rocket there, just
because it came right back to the 750 spot. I'd rather get rid of it with 100 shares here and then wait for it to come back through 1775.
I'm digging it.
Visa tax stock mode. So Visa had earnings.
Open recovered. Now it's looking a lot better. Now it can take the run and lead. Right, leaders to laggard. I like the look of Open now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I'm just riding the swing, but that 8 level has been really responsive. Every time it's dipped under, I've been just watching for the snapback, and every time I get it, I just add a little bit more, and it feels good. If I'm wrong, then
no, I mean it's not a bad area. I just played it on Friday recently, and that was that first move to like kind of the 8 spot, and then I saw the 8 reloads plenty of time. And what do you get today? A wick under 8, recovery of 8.
And I was watching the premiums on the weeklies, and I know that they took a lot of stops on that wick, and then it seems like they bottom right back. So
that's what you want to see, man.
Mm-hmm.
The market loves to take those tinfoils.
I always people are always scared about volatility on a high flyer because they think, oh, it's the top. And I just think like, man, if you're up high, you need that volatility to go higher, Gotta shake the tree a little bit.
Yeah, especially on the 3rd support test.
Oscar looking like it wants to poke its head out of the trash.
Listen. You don't do it.
Come on. Get in the water's fine, man.
Don't do it. Come on, Steve. Listen.
It's going to happen either way, Mike.
I'm going to blame you on this one, too, even though it was a fully systematic day trade. I didn't even know it was going to happen until it popped into my system. You keep yapping about how good this chart looks. Katz has to know your address. He's got to know it. So I just got to ask him. And I'll get in the car. I know it'll be a long trip from the East Coast of Canada, but
I'm playing a dangerous game.
Don't worry. We'll block him at the border, man.
Let me through
that guy Michael Noss, I think he's trying to come into this country.
I thought you meant you're dropping me off at the border.
He gets to the border. There's like a whole bunch of pictures of Michael Noss.
That would be the most amazing. Me just getting in a car and documenting the trip down just to like leave a flaming bag of poop on Steve's door and just run away. Drive all the way back.
Like I said, if you see those Mounties not letting you pass.
I don't know, man. A road trip's a road trip. I think you should do it. You can do that, and then I'll make you clean it up, and we can have a beer or something. It'll be fun.
We'll take you to Oscar Health to check out your health.
It's funny. I don't even know what this company does. I just meme on all the time. I know it's in healthcare, but other than that,
it's a healthcare company that was started by Josh Kushner. So there's some vague Trump ties. Kushner. It is heavily reliant on
the Kush
market. What's it called? The market option, or basically ACA extensions, and they're like MOH, but like way more degenerate. So.
And that's what they're fighting about now for the government closure, right?
Yeah, so that's the biggest beneficiary of ACA extensions by far, in my book. The jury is out on whether it is a piece of crap or not. But
so it's another binary event. Like if they came out today and said, "Okay, we're extending the ACA," this thing rips, and if they go, "No, we're not," it tanks. So that's kind of the.
I have a type, Michael. I don't know what to tell you.
You're all about the uncontrollable YOLOs.
What can I say? This is a trend I've noticed in my personal life. So I got a type. What can I say? Sometimes it works pretty well. So Oscar to 30. Let's call it that. Conservative estimate.
Yeah, today that'd be nice because it's a day trade. So
yeah. Well, of course.
FCX doing pretty well here. Looking for the next push here to sell into. Cleveland Cliff is one that I'll look to kind of maybe get into right after that. I got no buying power right now.
This looks so unfun to trade. I was like, we test the breakout level and we pull back into VWAP and catch, and we push above the VWAP or the breakout level. Oh, and now we're going to go back to VWAP. Oh, and now we're going to pretend like we're bottoming off of VWAP. Oh, no, we're rejecting again. This just looks like
still in limbo.
The game
there, Mitch. You're still waiting for the risk managers to give you the stamp of approval. Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get through the risk team there and see once I get the approval. But hey, waiting on that. And waiting for RX to finally make its decision if it's going to stop me out today or not.
That's the worst. Just the purgatory. It's like, let me have my money back if come on. What are we doing?
It's a tough one, man.
If I need to trade more, give me back the demo account. That's what they did to me one of the times. They just said no. A couple of these aren't good enough. They were too low volume. So I said, all right. They just gave me back the account. I just kind of kept going with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that they do
Oh,
that.
volume.
I've been on prop firms where they'll just be like, "Oh, no, this didn't count. Try again, buy another." It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's dirty. That's dirty. Oh yeah, and I didn't even tell you guys I passed another one. So,
Congrats.
I'm in the same
Beat
boat
up, boop. Passed it.
Beautiful. And I don't know if I told you guys, I passed one a couple weeks ago, and I've been,
There you go.
been waiting to overtrade it.
It's that type of market.
Yeah. The market where
we should.
Just goes to show you, right? You're not winning in this market. Just slow it down, man. Slow it down.
Yeah, definitely.
Slow it down.
The slow way is the fast way. That's what I've been trying to tell people in my server, because you see all the gains on Twitter, and you're like, it's like the dumbest person
Wise man.
right now.
Steve, you're gonna love it. We're actually gonna do 10:30. We're gonna have a doctor joining us talking about trading psychology.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So you guys are more than welcome to stick around for the interview if you'd like. And just drop a question or two, and we can have some fun. Chat. This is your opportunity too. We'll talk in some trading psychology coming up 10:30.
That sounds awesome. At the very least, I will be in the chat and watching. But let's see.
Yeah, no, it should be fun.
Awesome. Who's the doctor?
So we are going to be actually talking to someone from the Money Show that we found. We talked to Thor Young, and then he told us that he has this doctor that does specifically on trading psychology. And I think this is great, guys. We're going to be talking, and just coming up here, I'm just trying to cash here. Talk about a nice trade here in FCX. Don't trade FCX often, but I guess today's that day, guys.
It's a fun one, dude. I have an abusive relationship with commodity stocks. They're just so much fun to trade when they catch a trend.
Mm-hmm.
That's just that's commodities in general. It's why you see so many like turtle traders on commodities, is because there's a big. They do nothing for a long period of time, then they just go. And
it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Non-stop.
Uranium, gold, coal.
It's the ability to have the ability to just know when to trade it and know when to just completely and utterly avoid them. That's like the real key with
the daily charts will tell you, man. The charts.
That's it.
The daily charts will tell you, man. And if you're trying to fight trends, then you're doing it all wrong.
Straight up. By the way, James, don't feel bad about the Oscar one. This one was mean, and there was headline risk, and it was a messy swing there, and I don't blame you for getting caught underwater there. That was tough. So give yourself a little grace. It wasn't the easiest trade. I did well on the first leg and took stops on the second. So that's kind of unfortunately the way she goes with these choppy names until they get the breakout. So for me, it's kind of like just conserving my mental capital until I can catch the real move. So little stops, paper cuts are okay if it keeps it on my radar. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yep, can't blame you for that. All right, looking for one more push in FCX. If not, just going to take the 4230s and run. This is part of the trying to expand it, right? I usually give it a couple seconds here. If I'm trying to cash, I'm ready to go. But at the same time, the slowdown's not happening. Just look at the one, try to give it the low, ready to get out. But if it pushes another 10 cents, that's a nice little added reward. The key is you just got to be ready.
Let's see how my baby PDD is doing. Holding strong. I like what I'm seeing. I'm keeping the swing on here, and it is risky. It is risky, like these very smart men said. But I got to risk it for the biscuit, and I think China has a good chance of doing the thing. I think these charts have a
That
lot of
biscuit,
room.
baby.
So I'm
That
sending.
biscuit. All right, FCX really just hanging on this 4230s. You can see it, like it's just literally hanging on it. So gotta watch out for that undercut there. If I put the stop out though, guarantee I'll take it.
And them's the rules.
You know I like to do it, and I like to show you it. Might as well do it, but no, I'm not gonna do it here. Not gonna do it because it's just gonna take it. There you go.
All right.
There you go. 36. Now it's trying to push above it. Now I really know that 4230s is my out here on the downside. But if it just want to keeps pushing, I'm gonna keep taking it.
I don't really see anything that MSAI, James, a little liquid. Actually, quite a bit of liquid.
37s.
You've got 2 minutes at a time where there's no trades that are going on, so just be careful there. But it looks like a little channel breakdown.
Ooh.
Right.
Bye.
I want to jinx it, but RXRX waking up a little bit. Tell you one thing, man. This is when you use the longer time frames to kind of keep you calm.
Yeah, zoom out until you don't feel sick. I feel that one.
Yep.
That kept me in SoFi yesterday, or whenever earnings was yesterday. Yeah.
Not, you feel like throwing up real quick.
Oh yeah, and looking like so far that might have been the bottom tick on SoFi.
Yeah, BE was
Oh
is
my goodness,
nuts.
that's just crazy. Like I know, I always make fun of people who are like, it can't go higher. And then I looked at the chart and I was like, but come on,
Really?
it can go higher. It can go higher still.
Yeah, when
That's
you think that, usually.
I do think it's. I always try to think of why people look at something like that, and I do think there's, especially for technicians, there's like this pre-built assumption that the top of the chart is somehow resistance. Right? That resistance has to be because it's a straight line or something.
Let's help everybody, man. Michael, resistance is because of supply and demand. It has nothing to do with the little lines that we're drawing, guys. It's
And
not like
I'm sorry.
not the little line, right?
Yeah. But what I think is most important is when you're at all-time highs, there's blue skies ahead. There's no sellers waiting to sell when they get in the money and get green again. And that's
the whole key is the overhead supply, right? There is none in this case.
That's a good thing. Yeah, I like that.
Open
well,
air.
you know that
It's like
every
racing.
short is every short's wrong, right? Every single short is incorrect and losing money, and every long is super happy.
I'm gonna take the money and run here, guys, in FCX.
You can use those two things to go, okay, well,
Cash.
Cash is
All right,
king,
guys.
baby.
This is one of those where you gotta sometimes do what you preach. You can't preach it and not be about it. We specifically talked before the show that I was talking about how in the 50K account, I have a tendency of always getting to 300 unrealized and going for the 4 or 5 on daily approaches, right? And then in this key, right now, I'm at that spot, but with the 25K, right? Half of that buying power, and I'm just at 260, right? So I think this is the important moment where it's like I can fight and try to get a little bit more, or I can say, hell of a day, keep going, right? Those are the days where you got to sometimes find that strength. And look at FCX. It's pushing, right? It's going 42.50. It could keep going. But sometimes just turning it to realize is the way to go. So at this point, if I wanted to risk another 20 or 30, I could reopen another position size here and try to scalp higher. But I think sometimes we get so caught up that our unrealized is just going up, 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 that we never really turn it to realized cash, right? And realized cash is the real cash, guys.
It's the best. It's like, I like to think of it like, all right, this is what I'm putting out. This is what I'm risking. Oh, it worked. All right, this is what I'm bringing back in. This is what I'll put out again. This is what I'm bringing back in. And I'm always conserving more than I'm putting out, you know?
Yeah.
And this is also a moment where we're going to get to an interview here soon, right? And what do I not want to do? Be looking cross-eyed in my interview. So best way to do that, take the pressure off, celebrate the day. FCX, I think, has potential of what we talk about all the time, which is what? Trend line approach up to the daily trend line, which puts it to 43. But at the same time, if it was a swing, I'm probably holding there. Day trades, we sell into momentum. We want to take momentum on day trades and get out while the getting's still good. That's the difference between day trades and swing trades. All right. In swings, you're trying to ride the momentum for as long as you can. In day trade, I don't think that's necessarily the key. You're just trying to get that juice, get the meat of the move, and get the heck out while the getting's still good. Right. So
another trade just popped in here for me on whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you boys talk about a little bit of trading. I'm gonna step in the background right quick and check on our guests.
Cool. So yeah, ARQT is Acutis Bio.
Oh, boys,
something?
just in case, so you don't want to hear me too much, you might want to take off your offstage feeds.
Yeah,
just
click that off.
Just
You know
making
where
sure
that is,
Steve.
Steve?
So Steve goes, "What? They're not talking to me. They're talking to me."
Sorry, where is that? Oh, I see.
There's a list in offstage feed. So
I just found
I
it.
always have that off. It's why when you come in, make sure you like yell at us or like put yourself up or something.
Okay, that makes sense. I thought
also if you're sharing your screen or something on your computer, you can hear that too. But yeah, this is one of those. This is the setup that I'm sure Steve would like. The idea is you're looking for a wide body candle yesterday, and then a simple 50% pullback inside that wide body candle. The idea is that if it's going to catch a bid and continue for whatever news caused this spike yesterday, in this case it was earnings, that's a good place for it to catch a bid and potentially turn higher. So, and again, Lumen up about flat on it now, right? The stop up here is like 1150. Again, very wide stops on these because the idea is I'm taking 5 to 10 positions at once. And, like we talked about earlier, have a time stop. So we're out by the end of the day. Primarily, that's the way we want to trade them. And not really worried about kind of fine tuning entries and exits. It's more about these are the positions I'm managing risk by taking a lot of them, very, very small. Yeah. Each of them have a little bit of edge. So a little bit of a short on that one, that long on that ARQT.
I love the base hits though. It's just it's so good for the psyche. I feel like just stacking those wins, and when there's so much turmoil in the markets right now.
Well, and it's also for different kinds of. So it comes down to market philosophies a little bit as well. So in the long term, stocks trend, right? In the very long term. So I've got some positions that I only touch monthly, and those are usually kind of trend positions.
Yeah,
and then in the medium term, I do a lot of kind of pullback trading. So look for a really strong stock that's giving a harsh pullback and trying to buy into that pullback. But then intraday, I've done a lot of study behind it, and intraday, it's like 70% of the time the market is just choppy intraday, and then 30% of the time you get nice trend days. So it's trying to exploit that, where I'm kind of just treating my day trading like a market maker. That's why I really like this style that Mitch is looking at with these undercut and rallies for, was it like open, is because these are kind of market make it style. It's like, first let's have we're buying a stock that's down, or we're selling a stock that's up, at least for that short term.
right.
And that's just the way I look at it. I don't want to go for a breakout and a huge continuation there.
Man, FCX continuing to go.
Swings.
What a nice one, man, today.
Banger.
I'm asking, why don't we trade small caps? Well, open is technically small cap. I think ARQT is small cap.
RXRX, technically.
RXRX is a small cap. A lot of things.
Small cap right now. But give it a week.
With the swing that I got on, that was a good one.
Oscar is technically a small cap.
What you want to see is also like a trend trade that show you that, like, hey, this thing's hot. Look at the 15-minute chart on FCX. Man, that's what you want to see.
that tells you, yeah, something just changed. You know what I mean? Straight up candles.
And yeah, the other thing to keep in mind is that there's a lot of fake news, I guess, there on the internet about how small caps are the only way to trade. And it's because people can much easier fake the gains that they make, right? On because you take a couple $1,000s on a ton of small cap trades, and then you just show the one that really exploded, and you don't show that you got chopped out of 90% of them. And just know that most big traders, most multi-millionaire traders, they're trading setups and systems, not so much the capitalization of the stock, right? If it's, they don't care if it's QCOM, right? We talked about that today. That had a great setup. If the stock's going to move 5%, I don't care what the market capitalization of. I don't care if they pay dividends. I don't care what the business model is, if they kick puppies or not, right? It's purely kind of the setup and style. So, and you'll see it'll come and go. Now we're in earnings season, so you'll get a lot of large caps making really huge moves today. Even Visa, right? These are really good moves, up 2% low to high and down 2% low to high.
Wow.
In Visa. But then during dry periods, you'll generally see us just naturally gravitate a little bit more towards the more volatile. Now, sometimes people confuse small caps with micro caps, which are little mega tiny things. Probably trade a little bit less of that just because the danger involved. And then also, lastly, account size. If you're trading a very tiny account, it's a lot easier. You trade a couple $100 on every given trade. A lot easier to get in and out on a micro cap stock than if as your account gets bigger, you kind of need that liquidity to start playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and shift towards our interview here in just a second here. So I don't know if you boys want to hop out, you want to hang in. It's up to you guys if you guys want to hang in for the interview. It's okay, Steve, if you want to hop, or Michael, if you want to hop, and I can take lead. It's whichever way.
I'd be happy to hang out, and I'd love to listen and
Yeah.
ask a question or two.
Yeah, come and hang out, man. I think that's the best way to do it, and I think we will just kind of keep it as an open discussion, and we can go with that. I got some questions, and you guys know I love trading psychology. We'll talk a little bit about maybe some books and some things that I've known that I've talked about, and I'm excited to get towards the action today. So, like always, guys, it's fun to bring on a new guest. We actually ran into these guests at the Money Show in Orlando. So if you guys didn't tune into the Money Show, well, hey, here it is, guys. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go to the middle screen. Let's bring on first Thor Young here. Good to have you on today, Thor. How we doing?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me on. It's really great to hang out with you and talk to your community and all that. Had a blast talking with at the Money Show with the guys out there. It was really cool.
Yeah, and today we're bringing on also Dr. Vanessa Charlin. How are we doing this morning?
Hey guys, how are you? I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Great shirt.
Love the shirt, right? We got to make a comment on the shirt, right? You got to rock and roll, baby. And in this market, we all need a little rock and roll in our lives. So it's great to have you guys on, of course. Let's first find out a little bit more about yourself. We'll start with Thor, and then we'll go to Dr. Vanessa.
Hello everybody out there. My name's Thor, and it's great to speak with everybody. I've been day trading for about a decade. Wrote a book on it, and do a lot of private mentoring and working with other traders, and that's kind of where I was, talking to your CEO about and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. And I actually am started off trading a lot of equities. I trade mostly futures now. Have always had a lot of fun trading equities and getting involved with that. I really liked the look you were giving a second ago about moving out to the larger time frame and looking out the trend. You're going to talk to my compadre here in a minute. She is one of the best trend line drawers on the planet. Literally, she just crushes at it. So she'll be really fun when you talk about that. But seeing the higher time frame pulling in there, seeing how you guys are hitting some of these levels, I really liked what you were saying in the morning about the mentality behind day trading and and how to capitalize. I mean, you guys are really giving some good stuff. I really like it.
Yeah, one of the things is Michael and I definitely have a lot of experience trading both sides, right? Michael trades a lot of systematic approach, and talking about this guy on this side, but he's very systematic, and he goes into more of that automative side of trading, which we get to enjoy because I'm subjective, Steve's subjective, and then kind of combo, but that's what we try to do. We try to tell everybody through experience kind of the tips and tricks that we've learned, because we talk about it as paying it forward, right? Trying to help those other traders learn
Hmm.
where they're going.
I'm with your guy there. I'm a system. Or your guy there. I'm a system trader myself.
Yeah,
Highly specific. Dr. V will call it a recipe. Highly specific way I enter and exit every single trade.
love it. Love to hear it. All right. Tell us a little bit more about you, Dr. Vanessa Charlin.
Hey, so yeah, I'm Dr. V. I'm a clinical psychologist. I did a PhD in Belgium. Now I'm back in Canada. And I've been a clinician for about 10 years now. And I discovered trading about 3 years ago. I had, I think, the hardest journey. I sucked at it, like big time. Like it was hard. And one day I hit bottom and I was like, okay, I studied everything because I'm a student, right? I was always having the best grades. I'm very competitive. I published like more than 100 scientific papers, like why the markets were mean to me. I learned everything,
So
right?
mean.
They're
And
so mean. Yeah.
so mean. And I wanted to control, like you have to do this for me. Like, come on, I'm a winner. And I go first in trades also. That was very nice, like very impulsive, like very, so it got very hard. And one day I was crying on my bathroom floor after about 1 year and a half. I was disgusted with myself. Of course, I was trading with my own money and losing my own money without
Yeah.
knowing what I was doing, right? So I said, okay, what's going on here? And I figured out that I was too overwhelmed with everything that I've learned. I was an like overlearner and under executor.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, this has to stop. So if I'm overwhelmed, what do I need? The opposite, right? So I went back. I deleted everything on my charts and I went back to Jesse Livermore, trend lines, support resistance, naked charts. So
Yep.
Naked charts.
naked
Absolutely.
trading, guys, naked trading, like it's the best. And because of that system, okay, I trust these lines so much. They've been there forever. And people sometimes are like, "Well, it's so simple. Like, it's not working. It's like it has to be complex to work." Of course not.
No.
So yeah, simplicity. So simple trading is possible.
Yeah.
And that's it saved my life basically.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You really have to kind of work up the belief and mindset. I'll bring in Mark Douglas. I don't know if you guys have read Trading in
Yes,
the
Oh
Zone. Of
yeah.
course,
big
it's one of my
fan.
favorite. Mark Douglas always talks about trading being a probability game, right?
Oh yes.
So I'd like to ask you guys, how can traders shift kind of their mindset from trying to predict market moves to thinking in purely terms of probability and risk management?
You want to go first, or?
I think you got this one. Go for it.
Go for it.
I think first of all, we need to understand that it takes time.
Yeah.
We have to suck at this first because we're humans
Hmm.
and the brain is not wired to do that job.
Yeah.
Everything is a big paradox. We come in for the money, yet it's the last thing that should be on our minds. Like, are you kidding me? So it takes time. And then you need to test stuff around, test strategies, find your flavor, right? What do
Yeah.
I like? What do I trust? Because I will not trust anything. I don't know nothing about this game.
Hmm.
And then when you find a strategy, you need to set the rules. Okay, what are the ingredients for that specific recipe? Okay. And then you go sim and you practice these rules until they become a habit. But I mean, it will take time for you to really detach from the outcome because, again, in normal life, when we do everything correctly, we expect a positive outcome. So when you get slapped in the face by NASDAQ when you did everything right, that sucks, right? What
Yeah,
the hell?
it does.
Oh yeah.
So
Rude.
I think the answer is we need to go through this corridor of suffering first.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
And trading is a spiritual journey.
Yeah.
And some don't want to hear about it. I get it. I respect that. But when you surrender to the master, that's when you start to get it. And
Yeah.
Metallica, right? So
I was gonna say.
Master of Puppets, okay, one of my favorite songs. Obey the master, right? So I obey my master, and the lines for me are the best way to do it. So I don't know if I answered your question, but it takes.
No. Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. That was
So
amazing.
to piggyback on that, like she's like, I'm so like, how much many traders come into trading and they just are ready to push buttons, right? You just want to throw all your money in there and just start going. You know what I mean? And like limited risk trading that I see across the top here.
Yeah.
Hello, like that's exactly what we're talking about, right? We want limited risk trading, but from the beginning, you can learn so much about trading without ever touching a mouse one time. And practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So
Yeah.
if you get in there and you start hitting buttons before you know what to do, you're going to develop tons of horrible trading behaviors that once you figure out how to trade will actually stagnate and maybe even derail you. You'll quit trading knowing exactly what you should have done, but just not able to do it and not know why. And that's because you built neural loops in there that are just keeping you from doing your thing. How do I learn about that? Oh yeah, that's still her. Uh,
That's a big problem because then you
Yeah.
have to undo yourself, basically.
The self-sabotage thinking, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
it happens. And I think that this is also just the belief in the uncertainty, right? And you need to get to that point where you also start to trust in your own abilities, right? I think that this is what traders struggle with the most. They come in, right? They think they got the first system, right, that they saw online, that it's going to work perfectly. They realize things don't work perfectly in any market.
Mm-mm.
There is no one system that's 100% accurate every single time. And if there is, they're lying to you.
100.
Because that's the
Well,
truth, right? I think we'd all be on that one system.
yeah,
But I
show me
think,
where it is, right? But I mean, this is
exactly.
Tom Hogard, another good author to throw out there. I don't know if y'all have ever read Best Loser Wins,
Mhm.
right?
Oh, this guy
Amazing.
mentions it all
Amazing.
the time.
I love
But
that.
this is out. This is one of those moments, right? Like Dr. V just said, suffering. The suffering does not stop, right? That's the thing you got to get ready. Day trading is a lifelong endeavor of suffering.
Oh,
You will be taking losses. It doesn't matter how good you get, you will take losses daily, even more, right? You're going to have them, but it's the best loser who can take those small losses, not lose their control. And then when you're in the right trade, hold it without getting rid of it too early, actually hitting your targets, getting the money you need, even though you're rattled, right? You just lost 3 trades. Now I'm holding this one. I see green. I want to take it. Yeah, but if you take it now, it'll never outweigh the red, right? So it's very, very difficult. So best loser wins. It's a
yeah.
solid reference there.
Yeah, there's
Man,
a
there's so much great stuff you touched on, but I just love how you guys are connecting ideas, talking about how the suffering doesn't end. I mean, what's more spiritual than that? That just sounds like Buddhism to me, you know? And I think
that's
It
why I
is.
laugh.
Yeah,
We're
it
all
really is.
monks. Very crazy
I,
ones, by the way. Okay.
Very.
I study a lot of Buddhism because I have a philosophy degree.
oh,
Nice.
And with that, there's a saying, right? Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So
yeah.
there's going to be pain in trading, but really the suffering happens when you can't stick to a system, when you can't buy into the uncertainties, right?
Mm,
And once we are realizing that, yeah, guess what? If you play trading, you're gonna lose. That's just the name of the game. But
period.
once we get through that and we can actually start worrying about developing skills, developing, like I say, it's always about decision making skills, right? How am I going to make decisions? Essentially, that's what day traders are trying to figure out. Your system can go all different types of places, but it's always about how do I make decisions? And then from there, understand that I can have a certainty on the other side of that equation, right? Because the more that we search for certainty, the more that we run into that barrier. Talk a little bit more about this and how you guys finally are seeing and overcoming those barriers of just running into the wall.
You want to go first?
I'll do this one. So I think the systematic approach is really, the key for me. So I actually found myself in the beginning quite emotional and quite unable to make those decisions, especially once the market really got going, especially once I took my first loss. You start to perceive the danger of everything. You lose consciousness. You're just out, right? Anyone out there, watching the feed right now, have you ever had that day where all of a sudden you wake up and you've maxed out, right? And you're like, wait, I don't even remember taking those trades, right? But that's you were just gone. So what do you do? How do you control yourself when this happens every time? And it actually does, right? You have to have a well-defined system that you've practiced very well. I come from a music background. I was a music education major. And then I ended up doing IT, so totally weird segue. But one of the things we learned when I did musical performance is that performance is when ability meets knowledge of ability, right? So it's not that just how, it's that you have to know how, right? And then that's really when you can do what you do. And the systematic approach allows you to take the onus of the outcome from you and place it into the system, right? If it's wrong, not you. Right? You adjudicate later, adjust the system, try again. It's kind of like Dr. V's clinical practice, right? You're going to do a hypothesis, right? You then need to test it. You know what I mean? And then back and forth. But if you vary the hypothesis in the middle, then what? Right?
All right, Michael, I'll kick it to you. You got any question here? So I don't take everything, but if not, I got more. You know me.
Well, I wanted to, especially because you mentioned you were a systematic trader as well, and I know this from personal experience that the mental side of the game is different when it comes to discretionary traders, and especially traders who are more trying to come up with a plan on the fly based off what they're seeing intraday, or a news event or earnings gap or something like that. And then systematic traders where it's more about the discipline to follow the thing that you've hopefully already built. So any words for just those people individually? It's going to be a smaller subset, but I know a lot of people, they get into systematic trading with their goal of, my emotions are the problem, so that's why I want to get into systematic trading. And I always kind of chuckle because you're not removing the emotional aspect of trading. It's just changing. So, some words for those people who maybe they've already done the work. They have the system. They've done the back test, that they know it works, but they just find themselves deviating or interfering with that back test too frequently.
I would say stop doing that. I would say go back to bracket trading. Until you get your system nailed down that you can execute it perfectly, you should measure your win rate on your execution, not on your trade outcomes. Okay. And you need a win rate very high, like 80, 90, 100% of good execution. Then you let the bracket do the thing. You go for base hits and you build that psychological capital. Your trading has to be mechanical because as soon as the human mind will be there in a trade, you will have the emotional brain showing up and trying to protect you.
Yeah.
So don't do discretionary until like a couple of years of seeing your system work, and you could maybe take decisions on the fly and say, well, I don't like this price action, I'm getting out. Okay. But first, build a solid foundation of mechanical stuff. And one way to help you build the rules, the trade book, the recipe, is having the employee analogy. If somebody would trade your account today, what would be the rules? And then at the end of the day, you come back home and you're like, why did you lose money on that RTY trade? Your employee will say, I was just following the rules, boss.
Yeah.
So it's not about the outcome, it's about following the rules.
Yeah.
And again, 90% of people I work with, they don't have a trading recipe.
Yeah.
And then another 90% of them who have a trading recipe don't listen to the rules. Yet they think they suck at trading. Well, they don't most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Right. And to piggyback on that, imagine this. Imagine if you did hire somebody to be your trading person and they came back and gave you missed executions all over the place. Would you hire them for the next day to trade your account again?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So why are you so willing to accept a behavior from yourself that you would not be willing to accept from someone you've hired? Shouldn't you hold yourself to a higher standard than you would someone else?
Yeah.
And if not, why? Like, what's going on in there? That's going to be a psychological trap right there. You know what I mean? Because now you literally have clearly defined reasons why you want to do what you do. You know what, you should do it. But even when attempting to hold in it, you don't have the control, which means you've got a whole lot of other things going in there that you need to deal with. And, you know, and that's a big area where we've found, you know, in the communities that I work with and where Dr. V has been so amazingly helpful, because there's very, very few real traders out there that are also clinical psychologists, right? With a DR in front, right? I'm not not performance coach because I've been doing this for a while. So if you have some of these really hard issues that really require some real unwinding, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, these are the kind of people you're going to want to look for, you know what I mean? Because it's hard to come by.
Yeah. The subconscious mind comes into play. Right. And I think that that's what we're talking about also, is that how much of trading behavior is really driven by the subconscious beliefs that you have. Right. And you could just be a person that, let's just be honest, maybe you've never really won in life. And that's actually affecting your trading, right? You're not used to winning. So at this point, what do? You lose. You do what you're used to doing. And
Because
this
it
is
feels
why,
comfortable. It feels comfortable to
yeah,
lose because your habit is to lose. You're used to that.
yeah.
So everybody find what they're looking for in the markets. Ed Secoda, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And I think it's an important one, right? And I think that, one of the things that at least has helped me is that growing up, I played a lot of sports and I played baseball, right? Where it's 3 out of 10 and you're an all-star, right? So essentially in that mentality, it's a losing mentality to begin with, right? I talk about baseball as being a loser sport. It really is. It's all about how to not lose, right? How to not be that bad, really. That's really what it is.
Right.
And I think that mentality is how you got to maybe start playing it into trading, right? At first, I talk about just become the survivor, right? Just stop losing, right? Let's just first try to get to 0 before we try to get to 100, right?
For sure. For sure.
And I think there's always like stages that we're
Exactly.
developing, right? At first, usually it's the losing stage. No one likes to be there, right? We all know those traders that just keep blowing through money, money, money. Then they move into more that survivor stage. Then I talk about the lunch money stage where they can just make a little bit. They could just maybe bring you out to lunch, but that's also a pat on the back, right? You're no longer a loser, right? You might not be thriving, but you're no longer that continuous losing mentality.
That's
And
what we say, man.
then you
Survive
can
until you
start.
thrive, man. Survive until you
Survive
thrive.
until you thrive. That's the
You
way
know?
it has to be in life in general, right?
Yeah.
Because as we take risk, we are going to take steps back. But the idea is to move in a kind of a stage mentality, right? Developing your mindset, developing those decision-making skills so that you can find success.
I feel like you're talking Dr. V's language right now. I mean, she literally has the 5 stages that she does in a thing. And as we work through traders in our private mentoring that we do, we're literally walking them through the stages of development. I mean, so you're so on point. And I love the baseball reference. I played some ball in high school, and then decided ball or music, and I picked music. Well, look how that worked out. I'm a stock trader. Anyway, but that was one of the things that always resonated with me in that performance category. Is it's the errors that really add up to everything, right? It's the a term I heard Stephen Goldstein say once, which is Alpha Mind. He said behavioral slippage isn't the money you lose; it's the money you never make. Right. So then this is kind of like if you watch any professional sport or anything, I'm from St. Augustine in North Florida. We got the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Great team. It's kind of, the issue they have is, they always find a way to lose. And I don't know what it is, but it's always just that one offensive guy who went off sides at the wrong time. It's the guy who didn't run the right route. So there was a pick six that wasn't supposed to happen. It's always the errors.
Yeah.
And I'll throw it to what Dr. Vanessa talks, keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Probably not keeping it simple. Not in, hey, I need to do this and potentially could get this outcome, but I need to do this act, right? And I think that's the hardest thing. That's why I also say for traders sometimes, like, especially when we take like a big loss, if you cut the loss and it didn't become that just complete disaster, give yourself a pat on the back is so positive. And I actually talk about it all the time. Like, you actually should just look at yourself and like literally give yourself a pat on the back. Like, that's how you do it, right? That's how you do it when you're doing it
That's my boy.
right.
Yeah.
And then that way, when you start to do things wrong, you don't just get into this rut. You realize, hey, I just broke my rule. Like you've mentioned, I just broke it. And if I broke it, well, that's the recipe to disaster, right? And I don't want to do the recipe to disaster no more, right? And I think that's one of the ways that you learn, especially with time. Like you mentioned, it takes time for you to really see this, to see your own personal beliefs play into trading. But I'll kick it to you guys as final words. What would you tell those traders out there, of course, to kind of keep developing? And then also give us a couple mentions of where traders can find you guys so they can continue on with this conversation.
I would say take a deep breath in, okay? And just accept that naturally we all suck at this. Okay? That's the thing, that's the thing. We're not good at this. Okay?
Yeah.
And then also no one has discipline or willpower when it comes to a trade. We use discipline and willpower to follow the rules. But in a trade, nobody does.
Yeah.
So calm down, relax. You're a good human being. Okay? So if you want to reach me, I'm on Instagram, so Dr. Vanessa Charland. Okay? And I just got stopped out on my RTY trade. That's okay. Didn't work out.
Is gold still going down? I've been having fun with that today. It is great. I kind of wrapping out. For me, all I want to say is, and kind of piggybacks into that, is take your time with your trading. I've worked with lots of traders, hundreds at this point. I mean, I'm on YouTube every day. I'm in a large trading community. I mentor hundreds of traders, right? I do not have any traders in my circle group that made their money high frequency trading, right? High frequency trading just racks your comms and it just gets you stopped out. You're tripping over dimes tripping over dollars trying to pick up dimes. I mean, it's just not, ATR is a thing. These big equities, you get like the Teslas, the Nvidias, these things move $12 a day, $15 a day. Why not get $9 of it? Why not get $10 of it? Why are you going for these small targets? So take your time, trade less, trade with intention, and then just don't touch it. Once you're in the trade, set your brackets and let the market cook. If it doesn't work, you're going to get amazing empirical data. If it does work, you're going to make money, right? So either way, you win. And as I think with my systematic brother up there, I just think if you really follow in, dial in, and really perform it that way, you'll find a lot less anxiety in the trading. So you can find me. I'm on X at Thor Young, and on IG at Thor Young BBT. So come by, say hi. Vanessa and I are actually working right now on doing a hybrided mentoring service. So we're going to be offering, I've got about 10 years of experience in now, lots of technicals, and she's the doc, right? So best trend line drawer I know, and an amazing technician herself. So we do that and try to help everybody out. Find us on IG, say hi, and we really look forward to hanging out with Trade the Pool and seeing you guys more. I know I'm talking to my people about your equity prop, and another great way to limit your risk to get into the pool, get trading, and maybe you don't have to empty out your whole bank account to get a part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to have you guys on, and definitely look forward to reaching reaching out to you guys more and more. We're looking to do some more podcasting and talking about these conversations, because I think these are the conversations that every trader needs to listen to really get to that next step. So thank you for pushing traders all out there. Threw up multiple links there in the chat that you guys can just click and give them a good follow. It's good to have you guys on, and we'll look forward to having you guys back. Thank you, Thor.
Thanks
and
for coming
Dr.
by.
Charlin.
Good chat.
Take care, guys. All right, guys. What a good
was-
conversation. What you guys think? I mean, I told you guys it was going to be fun. I'm glad you guys stuck around.
That was
No,
great.
it's
It felt like
great
they were
time.
speaking to my soul,
And-
you know?
Yeah,
I
the
knew
most
all of
important part, you know,
Yeah,
you
man.
can,
That's just
you know,
how
we
it
say
goes,
you can,
right?
you can come up with the system, you can test it, you can,
Yeah.
can't follow it.
Yeah.
You
No,
just
no,
waste
and
a
I
whole
always
bunch
talk
of time,
about
right?
how she said it, like how discipline, right? You don't just have discipline. And that's why I talk about it. It's a repeated action, right? Discipline comes and goes, right? And I think
Well, and
that's
it's
where a lot
been-
of traders get it twisted.
It's been studied that it's like a muscle too, right? It's why we
Yeah,
usually
that's what it
eat
is.
all
It's
of
a
our shit
muscle,
at the end
man.
of the day. Because you get willpower exhausts.
It's never
as the
fun to
day
cut a
goes on.
swing trade for me, guys. But I got to do it sometimes, right? And I think that it's not about being fun. Realize it's about taking the business-like approach. That's what we try to show you here, right? There's going to be times when things go well. There's going to be times that things go bad. That's how business works also. The key, find a system that works for you, something you can repeat, something that matches more your personality, because that plays into it, right? That's why I brought up the whole baseball conversation, and why maybe 80 and 90% accuracy never works for me, right? It's because I've already been used to not trying to be 80 or 90% accurate, right? And so trying to change that would be the wrong thing in my mentality, right? But maybe you're the type of person that likes that type of strategy. Doesn't mean you can't. It just means find what works for you. It's very simple, but takes time to really develop. Any last words for those traders out there, Steve? I know you deal with this on an everyday, and it's like almost seeing the mirror when you hear these conversations.
Well, yeah, it's beautiful on both sides, because these are many of the same things that when I do coaching sessions, I try to pass on to my students. And at the same time, being a student myself in the bigger picture, I'm hearing these being the things that I need to keep reminding myself every day, because like they said, it's one thing to know it. It's another thing to practice it.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have my days where I don't. And then I need to tune into Dr. V and Dr. Thor there.
I enjoyed it. And that's what it's all about, guys. Continue to find ways to up your skill level. That's it for us today. 11:02 went a little overtime. You guys do us a favor. You enjoyed that conversation.